Today, we're going to talk about all of the professionals in the traditional publishing industry who touch your book to help get it across the finish line and get it published. Who they are, what they do, how much money they should charge. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm MK Williams. I'm an author and I love sharing my insights about all things books and publishing with you. Before I get into the details of today's topic, don't forget to hit subscribe. You'll be notified every week when I put out new videos about publishing, making a career being an author, and now being an entrepreneur. Now, this video is for authors who are aspiring to get a traditional publishing deal, or say you're a self published author and you're hoping to get a translation deal. So you will eventually be working with an agent to become more of a hybrid author. Or maybe you just got an email from an agent or a co agent or a scout or a publisher promising you the world. So, who are these people in the publishing industry and what do they do? So, first, let's go with the agent. On the traditional publishing side, this is the first person you're probably going to have contact with, whether you're querying an agent, signing with an agent, going to a pitch contest, a pitching event. The agent is usually your first contact. So, this is someone who you, as the author, are giving the exclusive right to pitch and sell your books to a publisher. Okay. The agent will work with you to revise the book. Some are more editorial than others. You're going to be crafting a solid pitch. This is probably going to be largely based on the query letter that you submitted to them. I have a whole series on query letters that you can check out. And then this agent has the relationships with editors at publishing houses so they can go and pitch your book, right? They're going to industry events, they're meeting with editors, and they know which publishing houses and imprints want which books right now. They really know the ins and outs. So when an offer is made, the agent is going to bring it to you and say, here's the offer. What do you want to do? Okay. If you are a super lucky unicorn, maybe you get multiple offers. But ideally, your agent's going to be saying, hey, these are the terms. Here's what I've already negotiated for you. Here's what they're offering. Here's what I think we could negotiate too. The agent does not agree to the terms of the deal for you. You, as the author, give the final yes or no. Yes, I want this deal. No, I don't want this deal. Why would you say no? I don't know, but there could be reasons. Ideally, they've already negotiated to the max on your behalf because they don't get paid until you get paid. So, all that work the agent does on the front end, maintaining these relationships, reading your query, helping you edit your manuscript, all of that's done on spec, right? On this idea that you're going to get a big deal because they only get paid a percentage of the deal. When you sign with your agent, all of those percentages should be spelled out for if this is an English language worldwide deal, here's the percentage the agent gets. If we are using for a translation deal, a co-agent, here's the split for merchandising, for options, for all of that. That should all be spelled out very clearly in the agreement with your agent. Now, some of those terms I just threw out, we're going to be going over, which is up next is co-agent. Now, the extent to which I've worked with a co-agent is for translation rights. And whenever I hear about co-agents, that's usually what it's for primarily. So your literary agent, whether you write fiction or nonfiction, has relationships with editors in their primary markets, right? So I speak English, I write in English, I live in the United States. My agent works with publishers to sell English worldwide rights. So her relationships and expertise are with the big five and large independent publishers that put out books in English in the English speaking world. Now, she could take the time to learn other languages, become fluent. I actually do think my agent is fluent in two other languages already. She's super awesome and epic. But, she would have to take the time to really learn the markets of those countries, build relationships with editors in those countries, and sell my books in those languages. Or she could really focus on her primary market and she can work with what's called a co-agent. So this person does what she does. The co-agent works to help secure translations for books in their primary markets. They know the editors, they know the trends, they know what people look to see in the language, what's not going to translate, all of it. So when we signed a French translation deal for Heifer, my co-agent that my agent had already decided to work with and my agent both got a cut. In most cases, when you sign with an agent, they are going to, again, spell out in an index in your contract what the different percentages will be for co-agents for translation deals. And they already have those relationships with the co-agents. They know who they're working with. They may decide, hey, I want to work with a different co-agent now. that there's a whole other side to this business that is just translation deals. So let's say you are not a novice author. Maybe you are an established self-published author and you want to just get translation deals. You may still work with an agent who has deals with all the co-agents for different languages instead of you having to go out and find an agent in every single language. Okay. It's very helpful to have that one central agent who knows all the other pieces. It can get you multiple translation deals instead of just, well, I only have one contact and it's just for this market. So as I said, when we signed the translation deal for Heifer, my co-agent and my agent got a cut before I got paid. That was already spelled out and lined up with what was in our contract. But without either of them, I wouldn't have had any translation deal. So co-agents are very, very helpful, and I would rather give them a percentage of something instead of me get 100% of nothing. So the next person or professional in the publishing industry that you may hear about sometimes is a scout. They do seem to be a bit more like elusive and a very like niche profession that I've not heard much about. I only know a little bit about because there seems to be like an intentional lack of knowledge. Like they're not going out promoting themselves like, "I'm a scout, like, come talk to me." Like, they maybe don't want you, the eager author, to know who they are, because the scouts are gonna work for publishers or production companies to bring manuscripts to the publisher, to the production company to say, "Hey, you should publish this book, you should make this a movie." You might be thinking, don't agents do that?" They sure do, but the agent works for the author, and the scout is working for the publisher or the production company, so they have a bit more sway with their boss if they say, "Hey, I found this based on what you said you wanted, take a look." Um, they do a lot of reading of manuscripts, they're meeting with agents, they're meeting with editors, they're almost like that middleman of, like, connecting the right agent, who has the manuscript with the publisher or who wants that one, because sometimes there can just be, like, a mismatch. I don't know if they're paid on the contracts that are closed or a flat fee. If there are any little birdies who wanna share, that's super cool, but in general, you, the author, are probably not gonna interact with this person. They're helping to sift through all the manuscripts to find gold. The extent to which I know about this is that my agent has told me that they're talking up my next book to a scout because they have sway with the publishers that they're really hoping to, like, get the bigger, better deal, right? So it feels I don't wanna say cloak and dagger, I think that has a negative connotation, but, I'm guessing they are a bit more secretive because they don't want a zillion authors just messaging them, and, I do think it would defeat the purpose of their job to be paid by authors, to be pitched by authors because they wanna have the right incentive of bringing the manuscripts to the publisher or the production company to be like, "This is what you said you wanted, I found it," versus, "Hey, this author paid me to bring this to you." Like, that would be a mismatch. Um, Either way, I have not been asked to pay a dime to my agent or the scout that are looking at my second book. All right, and then the final person is the publisher. So, this title works in two different ways. So, the publisher is the company that acquires your book and publishes it. There's likely an individual at the publishing house whose executive title is also publisher. They take the book and they make it the manuscript and they make it a book, right? They make it the physical book that you can read or the ebook. They do all the behind the scenes work to make that happen. Now, with each of these roles, no one is asking for your money up front. No one. The agent is paid when you get paid. The co-agent is paid when you get paid. The scout is paid by the publisher or the production company. Again, I'm still not 100% clear on that. But again, I have not been asked to spend a dime or pay a dime to whoever the scout is that my agent is talking to about the next book we're working on together. Like zero. And then the publisher pays you for the rights to your book. Okay. So this video exists, yes, to define these terms, but also to warn you off of scams. There are so many predators out there, and there are new companies popping up as vanity presses and trying to like offer authors these dreams for thousands and thousands of dollars. And if that's what you want, fine. But like buyer beware. And the majority of publishing works where the money flows to the author. The credible sides of publishing work where the money flows to the author. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Hopefully you are watching this and not thinking, oh no, what did I just do? Or you're like, okay, I'm not going to respond to that email. That might not be good. So if you ever have any questions, I would always say rely on writers groups, you can even post in certain writers groups anonymously to say, hey, I got this email. Does this sound legit? or I'm talking to this agent. Does anyone have any experience with them? Like, there's lots of ways that you can connect with other authors to make sure that anything coming through to you sounds legit. Writer Beware is another really great website where you can fact check things too. Okay. So, what other questions do you have about the traditional side of publishing? That is literally where I find content for my next videos, is by answering your questions. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and maybe even hit that new thank you button. That tells YouTube you got value from this information, and then they can get it in front of other authors like us. Now you can get back to writing your book.